Chapter 1: The Early Deals. Picture this, my champions, New York City, 1974. A young Donald Trump walks into a room full of skeptical bankers. He's just 28, wearing his signature suit, asking for a $70 million loan. Everyone thinks he's too ambitious. But you know what's fascinating? He's about to use negotiation skills that would define his career. Let me take you back a bit. While other kids played after school, young Donald was learning something invaluable. His father, Fred, a successful real estate developer, would take him to construction sites and negotiations. "I learned more in those meetings than I ever did in school," Trump later wrote in The Art of the Deal. Now here's where it gets really interesting. At 21, after graduating from Wharton Business School, Donald makes his first bold move. While his peers seek entry-level positions, he convinces his father to let him take bigger roles in the family's real estate business. Share the word bold in the comments if you believe in taking calculated risks. You know what I love most about this part of Trump's story? He mastered what I call opportunity vision. In 1974, when New York City faced severe financial crisis, most developers avoided Manhattan. But Trump saw potential where others saw problems. My dear friends, notice how he used leverage here. He understood a basic principle. In a down market, you negotiate from strength. This insight would later help him in countless deals. But here comes the most powerful part. In meetings with bankers, Trump presented a compelling argument. The city will recover, properties are undervalued, construction costs are low, this is the perfect time to invest. Write vision in the comments if you admire this kind of forward thinking. And guess what happened? The bankers approved the loan for the Commodore Hotel project, later the Grand Hyatt. Trump had used what negotiators call future-focused persuasion, showing others not just what is, but what could be. Now, my friends, Trump is demonstrating what being resilient truly means. While others see crisis, he sees opportunity. While others negotiate from fear, he negotiates from confidence. But wait. In 1979, something unexpected was about to test his negotiation skills like never before. The New York real estate market was about to face its biggest challenge in decades. My champions, before I tell you about his first major challenge and how he turned it into opportunity, write ready in the comments if you're excited to learn these powerful negotiation secrets. Remember, at the end, I'll share the exact phrases Trump used to convince skeptical bankers. Are you ready to learn how Trump handled his first real crisis? Because this next part will teach you something incredible about turning setbacks into comebacks. Chapter 2: Mastering the Comeback. My champions, before we dive into this incredible chapter of Trump's journey, let me share two powerful business words you'll need. Strategy, a careful plan to achieve a specific goal. Like when Trump said, "Sometimes your best investments are the ones you don't make." Leverage, using what you have to gain more. As Trump wrote, use your assets to create opportunities. Now, let's return to 1979. The New York real estate market is crashing. Interest rates are skyrocketing to 20%. Most developers are going bankrupt. But Trump? He's about to show us something remarkable about handling tough times. You know what makes this part of Trump's story so powerful? Instead of panicking, he studies the market carefully. While others rush to sell properties, Trump makes a bold decision. Write SMART in the comments if you want to know what he did. Here's the fascinating part. Trump realizes that in tough times, banks are more willing to negotiate. He approaches his lenders with a clear message. We can work together and both win, or we can both lose. This becomes one of his most powerful negotiation principles. My dear friends, pay attention to what happens next. Trump starts buying properties when prices are low. He tells his team, don't focus on the problem, focus on the opportunity hiding inside the problem. Write wisdom if you've ever turned a problem into an opportunity. But here's where Trump shows true negotiation mastery. In 1985, he buys the Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach for $7 million, property worth $20 million. How? By understanding something crucial about negotiations. Timing is everything. You know what I love most about this period? Trump demonstrates three key principles. Study the market deeply, build strong relationships with banks, act when others are afraid. My champions, notice how being strategic helped him survive while others failed. He wasn't just making deals, he was making smart deals at the right time. But wait. Just when everything seems perfect, the 1990s bring Trump his biggest challenge yet. A $916 million debt threatens everything he's built. Most people would give up. But what Trump does next will teach us the most valuable lesson about negotiation and resilience. Before I reveal how Trump handled this massive crisis, write "learn" in the comments if you're ready to discover his most powerful comeback strategy. My dear friends, remember, just like Trump used clear English to convince bankers, you too can master these business communication skills. But first, let's see how he handled nearly losing everything. Chapter 3: The Ultimate Negotiation. My champions, let's learn two crucial business words that define this incredible chapter. Persuasion, the art of convincing others. As Trump proved, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. Persistence, never giving up even when things look impossible. Like Trump said, it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. Now picture this moment, 1990. Trump faces $916 million in personal debt. His empire is shaking. The newspapers are writing his business obituary, but what happens next will change everything. Here's where Trump shows true mastery of negotiation. Instead of hiding from his 70 banks, he calls a meeting. Write "brave" in the comments if you believe facing problems is better than avoiding them. You know what's fascinating? Trump tells the bankers something unexpected. If you force me into bankruptcy, you'll get 50 cents on the dollar. But work with me, and you'll get everything back. This, my champions, is what we call creating mutual interest. Now pay close attention to his strategy. Trump doesn't beg, he negotiates. He shows the banks how his name, his brand, and his skills are worth more to them alive than dead. He turns his biggest weakness into his greatest strength. My dear friends, what happens next is incredible. The banks agree to restructure his debt. They even give him an allowance to keep operating. Why? Because Trump understood something powerful. In a tough negotiation, show others how helping you helps them. By 1995, Trump has not only survived, he's thriving. He takes his casinos public, starts his own television show, The Apprentice, and builds an even stronger brand. Write "comeback" if you believe in second chances. But here's the most valuable lesson from this period. Trump said, "I learned more from my difficult times than from my good times." He used every setback to become a better negotiator. My champions, notice how being persuasive and persistent turned his biggest crisis into opportunity. This is why learning clear business communication is so powerful. Now, let me share something special. The exact negotiation phrases Trump used in these meetings. Let's find a solution that works for everyone. Think about the long-term benefits. Here's what makes this a good deal for you. Write "tactics" in the comments if you want to learn more phrases like these. But wait. Just when Trump masters the business world, he sets his eyes on something even bigger, something that would require all his negotiation skills and more. Before we move to our final chapter, remember, these communication skills can change your life too. Whether you're negotiating a salary, making a business deal, or just trying to convince someone, these techniques work. Chapter 4: The Ultimate Deal. From Businessman to President. You know what, my dear champions? Let me tell you something incredible. Imagine you're sitting in your favorite coffee shop with me right now, and I'm about to share the most amazing part of Trump's story. Before we dive in, let's quickly learn two words I know you'll love using: influence and momentum. You know when you really want something, and you find just the right words to convince people? That's influence, and when one good thing leads to another, that's momentum. Trump mastered both. Now, picture this, and I wish you could have seen people's faces that day. It's 2015, Trump Tower in New York. Trump comes down that golden escalator, and you know what everyone does? They laugh. The business people, the politicians, the media, everyone thinks he's just putting on a show. But here's what fascinates me most about this moment, and trust me, I've studied this carefully. Trump does something so brilliant that most people missed it. Remember all those negotiation skills we talked about? All those business techniques? He takes them all and uses them in a completely new way. Let me share something personal with you. I've been teaching English for years, and I've never seen anyone use simple language so effectively. You see, while other politicians were using fancy words, Trump talked like he was having a conversation with a friend, just like we're having right now. Want to know the really clever part? When banks were giving him trouble in business, he'd speak their language. When he wanted to win an election, he spoke like everyday people, simple, direct, clear. Isn't that brilliant? Oh, and here's something that still amazes me. You're going to love this. Remember how he handled that $916 million debt we talked about? He used the exact same confidence in politics. When everyone said impossible, he said, "Watch me." When they attacked him, he turned it into strength, just like in business. You know what? Let me share 3 secrets I've learned from studying Trump's communication style. These aren't just for business or politics. You can use these tomorrow in your own life. First, and this is so important, speak simply. Don't try to sound smart. Try to be understood. Second, this one's my favorite, show confidence even when you're scared. Remember how Trump walked into those bank meetings when he was nearly bankrupt? Same energy. Third, and write this one down, always know your value. In any negotiation, in any situation, know what makes you special. I'll tell you something funny. My students often ask me, but how do I get confident speaking English? And I always tell them Trump's story. You don't need perfect English. You need clear English. You need confident English. Look at it this way. If you can explain your ideas to a friend, you can explain them to anyone. That's what Trump did. He talked to millions of people like he was talking to one person, like I'm talking to you right now. Before we wrap up our coffee chat, because that's what this feels like, right? Let me share one last thought. Whether you love or hate Trump's politics, his journey from business to the White House teaches us something incredible. Clear communication can take you anywhere. You know what makes me really excited? Knowing that you, yes, you, my champion sitting there right now, can use these same skills. Whether you're in a job interview, making a presentation, or just chatting with friends in English, these techniques work. Next time you're speaking English and feel nervous, remember this story. Remember how one man used simple, clear communication to achieve the impossible. Hey, look at the time. We've been chatting for a while now, but isn't this the best way to learn? Just 2 friends sharing stories, growing together. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember, I'm always here to help you on your English journey. See you in our next story, my dear friend.